spent 9 years building my dad's empire. Then he gave everything to my 25-year-old nephew. I'm sitting here in my apartment, looking at the city skyline through my window, and I still can't believe how everything fell apart. 9 years. That's how long I gave to my father's company. 9 years of late nights, missed opportunities, sacrificed relationships. And in one afternoon, he handed it all to Marcus, my cousin's son who'd barely worked a real job in his life. Let me start from the beginning. I was 23 when Dad called me into his office at Davidson Electronics. It was a small but growing electronics distribution company he'd started 15 years earlier. The office smelled like coffee and printer ink, and his desk was buried under invoices and purchase orders. "Michael," he said, leaning back in his worn leather chair, "I need someone I can trust. The business is growing faster than I can handle alone. Are you interested in coming on board?" I'd just finished my business degree and had 2 job offers from established firms in the city. Better pay, better benefits, clear career paths. But this was my father asking. This was family. What would I be doing? I asked. "Everything," he said with a tired smile. "Operations, client relations, inventory management. I'll teach you the business from the ground up." I said yes that same day. The salary was half what the corporate jobs offered, but Dad promised me equity once I proved myself. "Stick with me, Michael. We'll build something real together." My first week was overwhelming. Dad threw me into the deep end, handling customer complaints before I even understood our product line. I worked 12-hour days, learning our suppliers, memorizing SKU numbers, studying profit margins until my eyes burned. One night, around 9 p.m., I was still at the office reconciling a shipment error. Dad walked by my desk and stopped. "You're still here. This shipment to Henderson Medical is short 3 boxes of monitors. I'm trying to figure out what happened." He nodded slowly. "That's good work ethic. Your mother used to stay late with me like this when we were starting out. Mom had died when I was 17. Cancer. Dad rarely mentioned her. She'd be proud of you," he added quietly, then walked to his office. That moment meant everything to me. I worked harder after that. By year 2, I'd reorganized our entire inventory system. We were losing money on duplicate orders and storage inefficiencies. I spent 3 months implementing new tracking software, training the warehouse staff, and streamlining our processes. We cut operating costs by 18%. Dad called me into his office the day the quarterly numbers came in. "Michael, these results are exceptional. You've got a real head for this business." "Thanks, Dad. I've been thinking about expanding our medical device line. The margins are better and..." "That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. I want you to take the lead on new client acquisition. You've earned it." I was 25 and managing a team of 7 people. I built relationships with hospital purchasing departments across 3 states. I spent weekends at medical conferences, networking and learning what our clients really needed. Within a year, our medical division revenue had doubled. I was 27 when my cousin Patricia called me at 11 p.m. on a Thursday. "Michael? It's Patricia. I'm so sorry to call this late." Patricia lived 2 states away. We weren't close, but we'd grown up together at family gatherings. "What's wrong? Is everyone okay?" "It's Marcus. He's struggling. He dropped out of college again and he's been bouncing between jobs. He's living in my basement and I don't know what to do with him." Marcus was Patricia's son, 20 years old at the time. I'd met him maybe 5 times at family events. Quiet kid, always on his phone. "I'm sorry to hear that, Patricia. But why are you calling me?" "Your dad mentioned Davidson Electronics is doing really well. I was wondering if maybe Marcus could come work there for a while? Just something to get him on his feet." My stomach tightened. "Patricia, I don't handle hiring. You'd need to talk to Dad about that. Could you put in a good word? Please, Michael. We're family." I should have said no right then. Instead, I said I'd mention it to Dad. The next morning, I brought it up casually. "Patricia called last night. She's worried about Marcus." Dad looked up from his computer. "What's going on with him?" "He's having trouble finding direction. She asked if we might have any entry-level positions available." Dad was quiet for a moment. Marcus is a good kid. Smart. Just needs someone to believe in him. We could probably use another person in the warehouse, I offered carefully. Let me think about it, Dad said. 2 weeks later, Marcus started in our warehouse. He was tall, thin, always wearing headphones. He did his job adequately but without enthusiasm. He'd show up on time, do exactly what was asked, and leave at 5 p.m. sharp. I didn't pay much attention to him at first. I was buried in a major contract negotiation with a hospital network in Ohio. But I started noticing Dad taking an interest in Marcus. He'd walk through the warehouse more often, stop to chat with him, ask how he was settling in. How's Marcus doing? I asked Dad one afternoon. Good. Really good, actually. He's got potential, Michael. Reminds me of myself at that age. I found that odd since Marcus showed none of the drive or initiative I'd seen from Dad. But I kept my mouth shut. 3 months in, Dad moved Marcus from the warehouse to the office. Said he wanted to teach him the business side. Don't you think that's fast? I asked. He's barely learned the basics of our operations. He's family, Michael. We take care of our own. I couldn't argue with that since the same logic had gotten me my start. Marcus started sitting in on client meetings. At first just observing, then Dad would ask his opinion on things. Marcus's answers were surface level at best, but Dad would nod enthusiastically. See, that's the kind of fresh thinking we need. You're not stuck in old patterns. I'd spent years developing those patterns because they worked, but I bit my tongue. One Friday evening, I was finalizing a proposal for our biggest potential client yet, when Dad stopped by my desk. Go home, Michael. It's almost 8 p.m. I want to finish this proposal. The meeting's Monday. Marcus can help with that. I'll have him come in tomorrow to work on it with you. Dad, I've got this. I know this client inside and out. I know you do, but Marcus needs to learn how to put these together. Consider it training. The next day, Marcus showed up at noon. I'd already finished the proposal. Oh, he said when I told him. Guess you didn't need me then. It's fine. But since you're here, let me walk you through the strategy. I spent 2 hours explaining our approach, the client's pain points, our competitive advantages. Marcus mostly nodded and checked his phone. On Monday, we landed the contract. It was worth $1.2 million annually. Dad took me and Marcus out to celebrate. To the team, Dad said, raising his glass. Marcus smiled. Thanks, Uncle Richard. This is really cool to be part of. Uncle Richard. Not Mr. Davidson or Sir like everyone else called him. Uncle Richard. I was 28 when Dad announced Marcus's promotion to operations manager. My former position before I'd moved up to vice president of sales and business development. He's ready, Dad told me in his office. You've built a solid foundation in operations. Marcus will keep it running while you focus on growth. Dad, he's been here less than 2 years. He doesn't know half the systems I put in place. Then help him learn. You're good at training people. That's not the point. Operations needs someone with deep experience. What about Tom? He's been with us for 6 years and knows everything. Tom's great at following directions. Marcus has leadership potential. I left that meeting feeling sick. Tom had been my right hand. He'd stayed late, solved problems, gone above and beyond. When I told him about Marcus's promotion, his face went blank. I see, he said quietly. Guess that's how it works. Tom gave notice 3 weeks later. 2 other experienced employees followed him within the month. They didn't say it outright, but I knew why they were leaving. If Marcus could jump the line with minimal experience, what was the point of loyalty and hard work? Marcus's tenure as operations manager was rough. He made decisions without consulting anyone, changed procedures I'd spent years perfecting, and when problems arose, he'd come running to me to fix them. Michael, the Henderson order got mixed up again. Can you call them? Marcus, you're the operations manager. You need to handle these relationships. Yeah, but you know them better. Come on, just this once. It was never just once. Our error rate increased. Client complaints ticked up. I found myself staying later and later, quietly fixing Marcus's mistakes before they became disasters. One night at 10 p.m., I was rerouting an emergency shipment Marcus had sent to the wrong facility. Dad walked by. "Go home, Michael. You're working too hard. Someone has to make sure things don't fall apart. Marcus is learning. Give him time." "Dad, it's been 8 months. The team is frustrated. We're losing efficiency. Growing pains. Every business has them." I wanted to scream that we hadn't had these problems before Marcus, but I didn't. I turned 30 the same year our company hit $15 million in annual revenue. I'd been instrumental in landing 3 major contracts and expanding our territory into 2 new states. I'd built the sales team from 2 people to 12. I scheduled a meeting with Dad to discuss partnership. "I've been thinking about the future of Davidson Electronics," I started. "I've been here 7 years now. I've helped triple our revenue and build solid infrastructure. I'd like to discuss becoming a partner." Dad leaned back in his chair. "Partnership is a big step. I've earned it. You know I have. You've done excellent work, Michael. I'm proud of you. But I need to think about what's best for the company long term. Let me give it some thought." That should have been a yes. 7 years of proof should have been enough. I left that meeting with a knot in my stomach. Marcus's ascent continues. 6 months after my partnership conversation went nowhere, Dad announced Marcus's promotion to Executive Vice President. I was still Vice President of Sales. Marcus was now technically above me in the organizational chart. "This doesn't change anything between us," Dad said when he told me. "You're still running sales completely. Marcus will be focusing on long-term strategy and development." "What strategy? What development?" "He's got ideas about modernizing our approach, bringing in younger perspectives." Marcus was 24. His big ideas so far had been switching to a cheaper shipping provider that resulted in damaged goods and suggesting we create a TikTok account for B2B electronics distribution. But he was family, and apparently that trumped everything else. The staff knew something was wrong. I could feel their eyes on me during the announcement meeting. Michael, who'd built this company up alongside the founder, passed over for the nephew who'd been there 3 years. My top salesperson, David, came to my office afterward. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Michael, this is wrong. Everyone knows it. It's Dad's company. His decision. You're too loyal for your own good." Maybe he was right. Marcus started traveling more, supposedly meeting with potential clients and partners. He'd be gone for days, come back with vague reports about promising conversations that never materialized into actual business. But Dad ate it up. "Marcus is out there hustling, making connections. That's what we need." Meanwhile, I was closing actual deals, managing the team, putting out fires. I'd arrive at 7 a.m. and leave at 8 p.m. My friends stopped inviting me to things because I always said no. My last relationship had ended the year before because I was married to the job. "You need balance," my ex had said. "Your father's company is consuming your entire life. It's not just his company. It's mine too. I'm building something. Are you though? Or are you just working yourself to death for someone else's dream?" I didn't have an answer then. One Tuesday afternoon, I walked past Dad's office and heard him on the phone. "I'm telling you, Patricia, Marcus is doing phenomenally. You should be so proud. He's got real business instincts." No, Michael's great too. He's the backbone of the operation. But Marcus has that entrepreneurial spark. I kept walking, my chest tight. In year 8, Marcus made a decision that should have been his undoing. He signed a contract with a new supplier without consulting anyone, lured by promises of lower prices. He didn't vet them properly, didn't check references, didn't review their delivery capabilities. The supplier failed to deliver a critical order for one of our biggest clients. We had patients waiting for essential equipment, and we had nothing to give them. I spent 72 hours straight fixing the disaster. I called in favors from every contact I had, found alternative suppliers, arranged emergency shipments, and personally delivered some equipment myself. The client stayed with us, but barely. I had to give them a significant discount and a guarantee it wouldn't happen again. When I confronted Marcus, he shrugged. "Mistakes happen. We'll know better next time. This mistake almost cost us a $800,000 annual contract. There can't be a next time. You fixed it though. That's what you do. I wanted to throw something. I went to Dad the next day. Marcus's decision-making is putting the company at risk. The Westfield incident should never have happened. He made an error in judgment. We all do. Dad, this wasn't a small error. This was negligence. He didn't do basic due diligence. And you cleaned it up beautifully. That's why you two make such a good team. He's innovative, you're detail-oriented. That's not teamwork. That's me covering for someone who isn't ready for his position. Dad's face hardened. He's family, Michael. We don't give up on family. What about me? I'm family too. Of course you are. But you've never needed the same guidance Marcus does. You've always been self-sufficient. I left his office feeling like I'd been punched. Things came to a head when Dad was hospitalized with a minor heart episode. Nothing serious, but enough to scare him. He was 68 and suddenly mortality was real. I visited him in the hospital every day. Marcus came once, stayed 20 minutes, and spent most of it on his phone. Dad started talking about legacy and succession planning. I've been thinking about the future, he said during one visit. What happens to Davidson Electronics when I'm gone? You're going to be fine, Dad. You'll be running things for years yet. Maybe. But I need to be smart about this. I need to ensure the company continues. It will. We've built something solid. He nodded slowly. Marcus is going to need support though. He's got potential, but he's young. Marcus? Dad. I'm the one who should. You'll be there to help him, right? You're so good at the details. My blood ran cold. What are you saying? Nothing's decided yet. I'm just thinking out loud. But I knew. I could see it in his eyes. He was considering giving the company to Marcus. Things came to a head when Dad was hospitalized with a minor heart episode. Nothing serious, but enough to scare him. He was 68 and suddenly mortality was real. I visited him in the hospital every day. Marcus came once, stayed 20 minutes, and spent most of it on his phone. Dad started talking about legacy and succession planning. I've been thinking about the future, he said during one visit. What happens to Davidson Electronics when I'm gone? You're going to be fine, Dad. You'll be running things for years yet. Maybe. But I need to be smart about this. I need to ensure the company continues. It will. We've built something solid. He nodded slowly. Marcus is going to need support though. He's got potential, but he's young. Marcus? Dad. I'm the one who should. You'll be there to help him, right? You're so good at the details. My blood ran cold. What are you saying? Nothing's decided yet. I'm just thinking out loud. But I knew. I could see it in his eyes. He was considering giving the company to Marcus. I signed the papers. I don't know why. Maybe shock. Maybe years of conditioning to do what Dad asked. Maybe some desperate hope that this was all a bad dream. Marcus became CEO the following Monday. He moved into Dad's office. My office stayed the same. The staff was in shock. 3 senior employees quit within the first month. David, my top performer, gave his notice with frustration in his eyes. I can't watch this, Michael. It's not right. I know. Why are you staying? I didn't have an answer. Marcus immediately started making changes. He wanted to modernize the company culture. He bought expensive office furniture, hired a social media manager, and implemented Innovation Fridays, where everyone had to pitch new ideas. Meanwhile, our core business suffered. Marcus was too busy playing CEO to actually manage operations. Orders got delayed. Quality control slipped. Clients started calling me directly, confused about changes in their accounts that Marcus had made without consulting them. Michael, what's going on over there? One of my oldest clients asked. We've worked with you for 6 years with 0 issues. Now suddenly our pricing is different and nobody told us. I'll look into it and call you back. I fixed it, like I always did. 6 months into Marcus's tenure as CEO, I was in my office at 9 p.m., working on a proposal when Dad walked in. He'd been less involved in daily operations since handing things to Marcus. You're here late. Big proposal due tomorrow. Marcus should be handling that. Marcus left at 5:30 to go to a networking event. Dad frowned. He's building relationships. That's important. So is actually doing the work. Michael, I need you to be supportive. This transition is hard for Marcus. Something inside me snapped. Hard for Marcus? Do you have any idea what this has been like for me? I've given everything to this company. Everything. And you handed it to someone who's barely qualified to manage a coffee shop. That's not fair. What's not fair is watching 9 years of my life mean nothing. What's not fair is being passed over for someone whose only qualification is being related to you. He's my nephew. He's family. So am I. I'm your son. Doesn't that count for anything? Dad's face went red. You've always had opportunities, Michael. Good education, supportive home. Marcus needed this chance. His mother is struggling. His father's been out of the picture for years. This isn't just about business. It's about helping family when they need it. So I'm being sacrificed to make you feel good about helping your sister's kid? No one is being sacrificed. You have a good job, equity in the company, security. Most people would be grateful. Most people aren't watching their life's work handed to someone else. We stared at each other across my desk. If you're unhappy, Dad said quietly, you're free to leave. No one is forcing you to stay. He walked out. I sat in my office for another hour, numb. Then I opened my laptop and started typing. I gave notice the next morning. 2 weeks, effective immediately as a working notice. Marcus actually looked relieved. I get it, Michael. This situation has been weird for both of us. No hard feelings. No hard feelings. 9 years summed up in 3 words. Dad asked to meet with me. We sat in his office, the same office where he'd first asked me to join him 9 years earlier. Don't do this, he said. I know you're angry, but leaving isn't the answer. What is the answer? Watching Marcus run into the ground what I spent a decade building. He's going to make mistakes. Everyone does. You did too. My mistakes didn't risk million-dollar contracts. Michael, please. You're letting your pride. This isn't about pride. This is about being valued. About being seen. About counting for something. You count. You've always counted. Just not as much as Marcus. Dad looked older than I'd ever seen him. I thought I was doing the right thing. For everyone. You were doing what made you feel good. You got to be the hero uncle who saved Marcus's life. But you sacrificed your son to do it. That's not true. Isn't it? He didn't answer. My last day was a Friday. I cleaned out my office, said goodbye to the staff who'd become my friends, and handed my keys to Marcus. Good luck, I told him. You're going to need it. He laughed nervously. Come on, don't be dramatic. We'll probably work together again someday. I didn't respond. Dad didn't come to the office that day. He texted me, I love you. I hope you know that. I didn't respond to that either. I walked out of Davidson Electronics at 3 p.m., carrying a box of personal items and 9 years of broken promises. I'm working for a competitor now. Better title, better salary, actual opportunities for advancement. My boss values my experience and expertise. I have weekends off. I sleep at night. I heard through former colleagues that Davidson Electronics is struggling. Marcus has made several more costly mistakes. Revenue is down. They've lost 2 major clients. Dad called me once. Michael, I need your advice on something. I'm not your employee anymore. I know. I'm calling as your father. Marcus is having trouble with the Westfield account. They're threatening to leave. You always had such a good relationship with them. Figure it out yourself. I hung up. Patricia called the next week. Michael, please. Your dad is stressed. Marcus is overwhelmed. Can't you help them? Why should I? Because we're family. Family doesn't throw you away when someone more convenient comes along. She didn't call again. The truth I learned. I spent 9 years believing that hard work, loyalty, and results would be enough. That if I just proved myself enough times, made the company successful enough, Dad would see my value. But I was competing against something I could never beat. His need to be the hero. His need to rescue Marcus gave him purpose, made him feel important. My success, ironically, worked against me. Because I was fine, I didn't need rescuing, I wasn't the emotional priority. Marcus wasn't chosen because he was better. He was chosen because he needed it more. And in Dad's mind, that made it the right choice. Do I still think about what could have been? Every day. 9 years of my life went into building something I'll never own, never lead, never get credit for. Do I regret those 9 years? I'm still figuring that out. I learned valuable skills. I built my expertise. I proved I could do hard things. Those years made me who I am professionally. But I also learned that love and business don't mix well. That family loyalty can be one-sided. That sometimes the people who should believe in you most are the ones who overlook you. Dad called again last week. I let it go to voicemail. Michael, it's Dad. I've been thinking a lot. About how things ended. About what I said and didn't say. I'd like to talk. Please call me back. I saved the message, but I haven't called back. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I won't. What I know now is that I don't need his validation anymore. I spent 9 years chasing it, trying to earn it, believing that if I just worked hard enough, it would come. But I was enough all along. I just needed to see it myself. Davidson Electronics was never going to be mine. Not because I wasn't good enough, but because Dad had already decided who he wanted to give it to, and no amount of proving myself would change that. Some people in the comments will say I should have seen it coming. That I was naive to trust family in business. That I should have protected myself better. Maybe they're right, but I wanted to believe that merit mattered. That the son who showed up every day, who sacrificed everything, who built the company alongside his father would be the one to inherit it. I wanted to believe I mattered most. I was wrong, and maybe that's the real lesson. Not that I should have worked harder or done things differently, but that I should have known the outcome was decided before I ever started. Marcus didn't win because he earned it. He won because Dad decided he needed it more. And I lost because I was strong enough to survive losing. It's been a year since I walked out of Davidson Electronics. I'm now director of sales at a mid-sized medical supply company. My boss just offered me a VP position. Real equity this time, not token shares. I heard Marcus step down as CEO last month. The board voted him out after he ran the company into serious debt. Dad's back in charge, trying to salvage what's left. He called me, asked if I'd consider coming back, helping him rebuild. I said no. Some bridges, once burned, don't get rebuilt. I'm building something new now, something that's actually mine. And this time, nobody can take it away.